Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Rachel, and if you're not subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. So today I'm going to be doing my intro for my Pan That palette of 2019, and I did a Pan That palette last year, and I had a really good experience doing it, so I want to do it again this year. So this year is going to be a little bit different because I am actually going to be panning two palettes this year, just because last year I felt like I got into a little bit of a rut with my makeup since I was only panning one palette. And although the palette I panned last year had a good range of different shades and tones, I just got into a makeup rut and I wasn't very creative with my makeup. So I thought two palettes would be a little bit more interesting. Of course, I'm not expecting to use up both of the palettes, like that would be crazy, but I would like to see how much progress I could make on both these palettes throughout the year. So one palette is more matte and then the other one has a lot more shimmers in it. So the first one is my Tartelette palette. This is my oldest matte palette in my collection. I've had it since I think my senior year of high school, and I used to use it a lot my freshman year of college, and I used to use it every single day. So I do have a little bit of progress on it. Like I have some of the embossing and imprints in the palette, like it says Tarte. Some of those are worn down, but I wouldn't say I really have any dips in this palette, so it is pretty much brand new. I haven't really reached for it since putting it away. I apologize for the really annoying metallic packaging, but as you can see, it is just a plain neutral matte palette. So although this palette is pretty much a neutral palette, I feel like it gives a good variety of undertones, so that I will be able to create some different looks. So my goals for this palette are just to hit pan on at least half of the palette. I don't think I'm going to use up any shades on this. The formula in this palette is more of a drier formula and it doesn't kick up a lot of product. So I predict that it's going to be hard to pan these eyeshadows. So here is a close-up of the palette. As you can see, there is the warms, cools, and then like the neutral toned shades over here. I would like to hit pan on these two more cream shades. I usually use that to set my lids, so I feel like it wouldn't be too difficult to hit pan on those. And then I also would like to hit pan on this row of shades right here. I use these more for transition shades, and I use transition shades almost every single day when I do my makeup, if not every day. So I also want to try to hit pan on this darker shade right here, just because this is the only dark shade in this palette that I really reach for on an everyday basis. As for like this row of like dark shades over here, I'm probably not going to hit pan on any of those shades just because I don't really use dark shades like every single day with my makeup. I haven't really seen anyone try to pan this palette, so I'm not sure how difficult it is really going to be. So if you have tried this or have seen someone try to pan this, let me know how they did with it, because I have honestly no idea. I've never seen anyone try to pan this before. And then the next palette that I'm going to try to pan is one I've seen people pan a lot and actually have panned in its entirety. So I'm hoping that this one will be a little bit more of a gimme palette for me, just because the shadow formula is a lot softer. And that is my Rachiee on the Zipped palette. I'm pretty sure Rachiee also isn't cruelty free, so that's another reason why I do want to pan this and hopefully maybe get it out of my collection. So if you haven't seen this before, this is what it looks like. It's like a lot of bronzes and like rosier tones. As you can see, the majority of this palette is shimmer shades. Like all of these 6 right here are shimmery, and then this dark color over here is also kind of have a shimmer to it. The only mattes in this palette are these 3 right here, which I probably won't be focusing on too much since I do have my matte palette for my mattes, so I'm mainly going to be focusing on this portion of the palette for the shimmers. This dark shimmer I'm probably not going to use up or really touch at all because I don't really use dark shimmery shades. It's just not something I really go for. If I'm doing like a dark smoky eye, I usually go for mattes. And I do find that this formula is very powdery and does have a lot of kick up to it, so I think it should be a little bit easier to pan. Also, I have never used this palette on a regular basis since owning it. Even with that little use, I do find that I have some like dents in them. Like you can kind of see that like these mattes over here you can see like I have a little bit of a dip where I've used my brush. Even these like shimmery shades, like you can tell like I've used them. Like you can see it like in the pan already. They're not like, they don't look unused or anything. Like you can tell you've used them, and I haven't used them that much. I am hoping that I will be able to pan this palette a little bit easier than the other palette just because of the formula. Although I have heard there is a lot of shadow in these pans, so it does take a long time to like use it up completely. But that's never my goal with my Pan That palettes or anything. I am just trying to pan them, not necessarily use them up. If I could hit pan on these mattes too, it'd be pretty impressive. But that's not my main goal when it comes to this palette. Alright guys, so wish me luck on these two palettes that I'm going to be panning this year. I was definitely surprised by my palette progress last year. Like I wasn't expecting to hit pan on so many shades. So hopefully this year will go just as well as last year, and hopefully panning 2 palettes will be more interesting than just panning 1. And I think my goals for this Pan That palette are more realistic than last year. Like last year I said I wanted to use up shades, and I realized last year that using up a complete eyeshadow is extremely difficult. So just hitting pan on most of these shades, at least half in each palette, would make me really happy. Alright guys, that's all I have for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!